Okay. So, welcome back. We are Nate and Simone. We talk all things marketing. And today we are talking about how to be more visible to your target market. Who is your target market? How do you choose them? And what do you do to reach out to them, engage them, and um, and get them interested in what it is that you're doing? So, hi, Nate.
Hi, how are we doing?
Good. Nate is feeling a
Yeah,
little under the weather today.
yeah,
And he's
relatively
having a
speaking.
busy day. I have a busy day. So we're going to try and keep it short today. All
Yeah,
right. Um, okay. So what um let's talk about it.
yeah.
What
What?
is what is your target market? What does that
Yeah,
even mean?
that's a good question. That's a good question. I think that a lot of times, unfortunately, small business owners, especially, don't understand this. They don't grasp the importance of it, um, and it it means that they're not probably not getting as many profits out of their business and generating as much revenue as they could because a lot of this, knowing who you are talking to, you know, what things they are interested in hearing about, how, what you solve, what you offer solves their problems, a lot of sales and a lot of business in general is just you are offering something that solves a problem for somebody else, right?
Absolutely.
And if you don't know who your target market is, then that probably means that you are unclear on what exactly it is, what problem it is that you are solving, right? That kind of seems to follow to a certain degree.
That's true.
Um,
That's true. The people that you're targeting will give you will let you know what the problem is that you need to be solving because otherwise um you can kind of be shooting in the dark and throwing how they say let's just throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks,
yeah,
whereas
yeah,
if you're targeting a specific group of people, when you talk to those people, they can tell you, okay, well, I'm having problems in this area. This is my pain point. This is what keeps me up at night. This particular problem is something I need to solve, so that my life can be better, so that I can move forward and make more profits or whatever it is that they want to do, you know.
yeah.
Um, it all flows. I like what Myron Golden says. He says it all flows from the market. So if you're a painter and you just decide, well, I'm going to paint houses or paint whatever, but you're not necessarily targeting, you're just kind of shooting in the dark, really.
Mhm. Yeah, you just paint any house, right? You paint
Right.
whoever's house happens to need painting. Well, okay. Um, But if you're really good at painting a certain type of house, then
Mhm.
those are the types of you want to go after those homeowners, right?
Right.
That own that particular type of house because you know how to do it really well. And that means that you could probably do it, better, quicker, more efficiently, at a lower cost and time wise and materials wise to you. And
Oh,
so that means that in the end, you're going to make more money, right? Uh, So that just kind of makes sense, right? If you are only doing those particular types of houses, that's an example, a rough off the cuff kind of
yeah.
example of how this could, increase your profits and advantage you.
Right.
But whether you're B2B or B2C, it's equally important, I think, to have an idea of who you're going after.
Right.
Um, and like I said, going like the idea of lower inputs on your part means better ROI on the other side, right? That's kind of what we're going for here. It's just
Absolutely.
easier for you because you know what people, you know. what they want to hear. You know how to speak their language, and people know that you're the guy that or the gal that paints, historical homes. For
Hmm.
example. Um, and so so it's kind of like a contradiction. Like you think that it would limit you and limit like your market, but it's actually has the opposite effect. It can have the opposite effect where instead of actually limiting you, it could potentially open up the market because you run into the situation where people say things like, well, I know you only do historical houses, but
Hmm.
I know somebody that has this house over here. Could you do that one? Like, oh yeah, sure, okay, maybe. So then that becomes kind of the exception. And
Right.
yeah, but anyway, I'm kind of
Yeah.
rambling now, but
I always say that you can share that like you have a specific target that your ideal customer looks and feels and behaves and hangs out over here. They look like this, they talk like this, um, they have these specific problems. But and and that's a great thing. But when people see that you have a specialty, even if they're not in that target, you, even though you're speaking to a specific person, they can see themselves. They might just want to put themselves as part of your target market because what you say resonates with them. And
yes,
how you
exactly.
show up in the marketplace resonates with them.
Mhm.
Yeah, I see you've gone all blurry, and we're
Yeah, I
trying to
don't know what's going
figure
on.
out what's going
Trying
on
to
there.
trying to fix it here. Maybe if I shut it off and turn it back on, that'll help. Try that.
Okay.
I don't know. Let's see.
I don't
Oh,
know.
did that
Yep,
help?
now you're back
Did that
there.
magic?
That's
Okay.
good.
Um, yeah. So anyway, so understanding, got to understand the big picture here, like who you're going after.
Yeah.
Um, and define them. So how do we define our ideal customers, Simone?
Well, we want to talk about and pinpoint both their demographic and their psychographic traits. So, demographic
Those sound
traits
like
might
big
be.
words.
I know those are big words. Demographic traits are traits like their age. It could be their culture, their religion. Um, it could be their income, their profession, that kind of thing. Whereas psychographic traits are more like, what are their values? What are their aspirations? What are their pain points? Things like that. So you want to look at both when you're targeting your or deciding who your ideal client is, because you may want to work with, let's say, you're a physical therapist who's out on your own. You're not necessarily working with an organization, and you're trying to decide like who your target is. Maybe you want to target people who are in sports, right? And what you may decide, okay, well, I want to help people who have sports injuries. Well, you might decide to target, high school kids, um, but or you might want to narrow it down to high school kids, like this, high school kids who play basketball or something like that, right? um and you might decide like, hey, this is who I want to serve. But then as you're going out and you're talking and you're trying to reach those customers, you find out that they don't actually have the resources to pay you for your services. And so so then you change your demographics to maybe older people, maybe basketball players in college, or those who are looking to go into the NBA, you know, um,
Yeah.
to help them to overcome any injuries that might prevent them from going to the next level. So those are the types of things, that you might want to look at when you're looking at, who your target market is.
Yeah, and this goes back to the idea of what makes them an ideal customer.
Hmm.
Think of the best customer you've ever had. Who is that person? What made them the best customer that you've ever had? It may have been that they had a great personality, they were easy to work with, but that's only like part of the equation, really.
Yeah.
They probably also had enough money to pay for your services, right? And so, what is it that makes them ideal? You got to think that through and
Yeah.
build a picture of that person. We're and the idea here is that we are building an avatar, someone that we can speak to. That is, it's a fictional character of sorts, but it's kind of like a all the best pieces of all the best customers you've ever had.
Yeah.
Might be a good way to think of it.
Right.
So once you've defined who that ideal customer is, what do we do next? We're looking at their problems.
So now we want to know, what are their pain points? What's their fears? What keeps them up at night? And can you solve that problem for them? Can you make it better? Do you have the magic pill to to heal that to heal that pain point that they're having, right? So being able to find out, really find out what are their pain points, what is keeping them up at night. And I believe that one of the best ways to find that out is to talk to them. Talk to a bunch of them. Talk to three, four, five, up to seven of them, before you decide, okay, this is the route I'm gonna go. This is the problem I'm gonna solve. This is the solution that I'm gonna offer. Right? You have to know what it is driving them, because their pain points could be driving their behavior and driving their decisions. And so you need to know that. And is the pain point a big enough pain point that they're willing to invest to solve the problem? Because sometimes
Yeah,
people, they have this pain point. Um, Either they don't realize that there's a solution for it, or they're not willing to invest in themselves in order to solve it. So, what's a pain point that people are actually willing to invest to solve, you know,
yeah,
to
yeah.
get rid of?
Like a lot of conversations that I have with potential clients start with, well, I need more leads, in the business. Okay.
Mhm.
But oftentimes, that is kind of a symptom, you know, it's
Mm,
not the actual problem. And the problem in a lot of cases is that they need to have more predictable revenue in their business,
right.
which is something that we can help them with, right? Helping to set that up and taking a big picture look at the entire process and everything that's going on in the business. But
Absolutely.
that's kind of an example. Oftentimes, you may think that it's one problem, but unless you actually talk to them and uncover more information, they actually get to the reason behind the reason,
Hmm.
then you're not actually going to know what their real problem is, and you're not you may sell a service that helps them with generating leads in that case, which is fine, whatever, that's great. But there's a bigger problem that you can be helping solve in that case. So that's kind
Yeah,
of what I'm getting at. There may be a bigger problem in your situation that unless you talk to the customers and the people who you think are your ideal customers, you wouldn't know necessarily. So
that's right. So that's why it's a good idea to, come up with a comprehensive questionnaire, um, assessment type conversation that you want to have with people who you believe would be your ideal client, and find out, top to bottom, back to front, what
mhm.
what's going on. Their look at their whole situation in comprehensive terms. And then that way you can help get to the root of the problem. Because you're right, a lot of people do talk about symptoms and,
Yep.
kind of what they can see right now. Well, this is the problem over here. Well, when you really start talking to them, you dig deep, you find out, oh, there's a lot more going on here. And
Hmm.
there's a much different cause than what you think it is, right? So I think
Yeah.
that's a good idea. And then also it's a
And
good idea to find out like what objections might they have to your solution, to jumping on board with you. Because
yeah.
like I said, sometimes people they have to be willing in order for them to really be an ideal client for you, they have to be willing um to put resources behind solving the problem. If they're not willing to do that, they're not necessarily ideal. So, are there objections that they would ordinarily have? Say you pitched a solution to them, what are they saying when they say if they're saying, well, okay, that sounds good, you know, but I don't have enough money, or it's going to take a long time, or it's going to be too hard. What are some of the objections that might come up? I don't have enough capacity, or I don't, Alex Hormozy talks about his solution for like helping people to get fit and weight loss and that kind of thing. And he talks about like putting together these meal plans, and some of the objections people came up with like were, well, I don't have time to go and shop, and I don't know what to get, and all these different things. And so he puts into his solution, well, okay, we'll create for you a detailed shopping list. We'll set it up on Instacart, and all you have to do is push the button, that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
um, s-
Yeah.
what is it? What are their objections? What problems do you see that you foresee coming up for them as you're trying to offer this solution? And and are they willing to accept those solutions?
Yeah. Have you ever heard of the one sentence persuasion course?
No.
There's a copywriter named Blair Warren. He wrote, professional copywriter for 20 plus years. And through all of his knowledge, he distilled his knowledge about what it takes to persuade someone to do something
Hmm.
into one sentence out of all of this. And he says, the one sentence, and I encourage you to, check out the book and read it, but
Okay.
basically the one sentence is people will do anything for those who encourage their dreams, justify their failures, allay their fears, confirm their suspicions, and help them
Mm.
throw rocks at their enemies.
Oh, I like that.
So
I think I
knowing
have
who your
heard that.
target, yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's pretty famous, but knowing who your target market is means
Hmm.
being able to do that for them, right?
Right.
And that's really what we're getting at here.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
it allows you, in other words, to articulate why they should choose you. Your
Hmm.
unique selling proposition, your value.
Right.
Um, so yeah. Anyway, it's all about communication. So I guess the next step going along that line is figuring that out. What is it that you do differently from others?
Hmm.
Um, and it doesn't necessarily have to be better. It could just be, it's just that it's different. Or are you doing it differently enough to get them to stop
Yeah.
and take you into consideration?
One of the things that I remember, uh, I can't remember if it's Dan Henry or somebody that says it, like, is one of the best value propositions that helps you to get clients on board is to help them reach their goals faster, you know? Um,
Yep.
Whereas there are lots of coaches out there, lots of business coaches out there that say, I will help you to get to help you get to six figures in a year, right? I know one coach who says, well, my selling proposition is I'm going to help you get to six figures in a day, you know? If you can help them do it faster, you win. Um,
Yep.
and
Exactly.
if you can help them do it easier. So if you take out complexity for them, then you win, right? Because what's one of the reasons why we like technology so much is because it makes our lives easier. So if you can make things easier for them, then you win. So those are two points of where you can help, where you can set yourself apart from others in your niche, others who are serving the same target market with perhaps the same services, the same products. If you can help them do it faster and make it easier for them, you've got a winner. And then of course you add in your own personality, your own spice, your own, whatever. Um, then
Yeah.
that just helps to make it even better.
Yeah. So I guess the question then is like, how do you figure that out? Like what it is, how long does it take someone to figure it out? Do you think, Simone? Would you say? I don't know.
I it probably depends on how much time they sit down and really focus on creating that type of solution. Um, and that and some of that time can be taken up with talking to ideal clients, doing some market research ahead of time, right? Finding out what it is their clients really want, what are their pain points, and what might hinder them from getting to the solution that you're trying to provide. And then I think it that helps you to decide, okay, well, my clients tend not to be tech savvy. So maybe I need to include templates. Maybe I need to do some of this for them. Maybe I need to be on hand or have team members on hand to walk them through step by step, slowly, you know. Um, to even if you're walking them through it slowly, they're still faster than it would be if they were doing it on their own, trying to figure it out on their own. Um, so yeah, that usually helps. Researching the resources that might be available to help you to serve your clients in faster and make it easier for them.
Yeah.
Um,
Often
that helps.
some a tool that I use a lot is AI, just
Hmm.
plug it into AI, ask AI to help guide you,
Absolutely.
that's a quick one.
Absolutely.
It may not be 100% correct, but it'll help you get there faster and help maybe
Right.
even make you think of things you hadn't even considered. So,
That's true. I actually have this AI prompt template that walks you through the process of creating an offer for a target client. That that has all of the elements in it that Alex Hormozy talks about in his Grand Slam offer, right? Having analyzing the pain points of your ideal client, finding out like what what problems they might have with the solution that you come up with. um what's a guarantee that you can offer? um what bonuses can you offer? What's a good price that they might be willing to pay for it, right? All of those things are, walks you through all of that. And you ask AI,
yeah.
what can I put in this offer to just to make it better?
Yep.
And
I,
it'll
I
tell
have
you.
an AI prompt. Maybe we should include these with the video. But
Yeah, that's a good idea.
the AI prompt is related to the one sentence persuasion course. So it
Mhm.
will create results based on the ideas in the one sentence persuasion course and give you 5 different ways that your offer, whatever it is, helps to encourage your client's dreams, justifies their failures, allays their fears, confirms their suspicions, and helps them throw rocks at their enemies, and just gives you a different way to think about how you kind of put together the messaging that you're using, maybe in
Yeah.
ads, maybe in like sales sheets on your website, but
Hmm.
it's extremely handy. But
I That's interesting. Those elements are actually also some of the things that Russell Brunson talks about putting in your presentation and
oh
helping you to
yeah.
create a movement, right? Because sometimes
Mhm.
people do create movements around justifying their fears and um, identifying the enemy, and we're all against this thing, this
Mhm.
person or this type of person, or you know some
Mhm.
people have created negative movements around it, right? But then you can also use it in a positive way. Like I know one coach who says, I hate poverty. We need to create a movement against poverty, right? If we
Mhm.
all get together and we build our businesses in such a way that we eliminate poverty from our lives, from our children's lives, we can um you gather a bunch of people and you're kind of moving in that direction towards
Yeah.
ending poverty, right?
I mean, it's positioning, right, for a
It's
company.
positioning, absolutely.
Positioning is all about setting your company against another, right, or
Yeah.
against um,
Or
maybe
against a
like
particular like ideology or
yeah,
a common attitude that maybe
yes,
people have. Yeah,
yes. You're drawing
absolutely.
a distinction, a hard distinction. Like this is what we do compared to, you know.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that's what it's about, and that is effectively communicating your unique value proposition, right? That's part of
Right.
your positioning. So,
Mine is
um,
against hustle and grind. I'm setting mine up against hustle and grind. Like let's automate our client life cycles so that we're not doing this hustle and grind.
yeah,
Right? We we became entrepreneurs so that we can live better lives, and that doesn't include hustling and grinding all day long.
yeah. Don't let your business run you, right? That's
Exactly. You run your business.
yeah.
Absolutely.
I've set myself in contrast to other marketing agencies that sell, you know, tactics only approach,
Hmm.
right? That is not in my opinion it's a problem in the marketing industry in general is that you have these companies that only sell website design. They only
Hmm.
sell SEO. They only sell ads. Like that's the ultimate be all end all solution to everybody, right? But
Right.
that's the only because that's what they sell, right? They're not really taking into consideration the big picture within the company. So that's where
Hmm.
I draw the distinction. Like get to know your company, really find out what's going on, what problems you have, and then come up with a solution that's going to address it appropriately. So yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, yeah, because as a marketing agency, if you are, and a lot of marketing agencies run into this problem. They their big job is to draw more leads for, direct more leads to their clients. But then their clients don't have a system in place to
Right,
really even process all those leads, right?
right, right.
They don't know how to sell, or they don't have a sales process in place,
And then they come to you
and
wondering
that
why they're
becomes a
not making
problem.
sales.
Right, right. You're like, hey, I'm doing my job. I'm sending you, I'm sending you leads.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
Absolutely. The whole system has to work together.
yeah. So now that once you've figured that out, what sets you apart and why they should choose you, then you should figure out, you know, understand how your customers define success. What does that look like to them?
Yeah.
Um, and
Right.
why would we want to do that? Like, what do we, it's just my customer. What do I care about them, right?
Right. If we're starting from the market, we absolutely have to care about the customers and what they want. Otherwise, we don't have happy, satisfied, and loyal customers. Because ultimately, that's what we want. We don't just want to have new customers coming in all the time. We want to keep the customers that we have, keep them around longer.
There's
And
there's
that
no there's
happens
no
when they're happy.
there's no better customer than the one you currently have, right?
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
it costs at least 50% less
Hmm.
to keep a customer than it does to acquire a new one. So
Absolutely.
a lot of
So we
cases.
need to know what what our customers care about. What does our ideal client care about, right? Do they care about losing 20 pounds before the wedding? Do they care about being able to lift 200 pounds in the competition? Do they care about making six figures by the end of the year? What do they care about? You know, that's that's what
Um,
that's what we need to know. Like what is success to them? Because sometimes
yeah,
people think you're successful if you're making a lot of money. Well,
yeah,
if that's not your purpose in life, then you're not successful, even if you are making a lot of money.
yep,
If you're not
yep.
fulfilling your purpose, you're not successful. So,
And this
what is
is,
success?
going back to talking to your market, like,
Mm,
finding out, asking them, how do you define success in your company? What does that look like to you?
mm, mm,
And really understand, goes back to really understanding your target market. Like, just, this is part of that. You need to know what it is that's motivating them, right? Because everybody
mm.
wants to be happy. They want success in their life, right?
Absolutely.
But what does that mean for? It's not the same for everybody. So,
It's not the same for everybody. Absolutely. Absolutely.
um,
Mm,
okay. Now going back to setting yourself up in opposition, right, and
mm.
defining yourself against somebody else or some other idea, um, as part of your positioning, probably equally as important as knowing who your ideal target market is, or your target customer, knowing who they are, equally as important is knowing who they are not, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They say good marketing not only attracts the right people, it repels the wrong people.
Yeah.
So, you want your messaging to disqualify some people, and
Mhm.
and give them the message that they should disqualify themselves,
Yeah.
right? So,
Right.
this weekend I went with some friends. I'm in this entrepreneur group community, and we meet every morning. And our leader just had us come together this weekend. We went to Atlanta, and we just kind of helped each other to work on our projects and things. And one of them decided that his target market is men. Well, if he says, well, my target market is men, well, that's going to exclude me, right? I am going to automatically be disqualified for that particular target. I'm still in his group. He's not going to kick me out, but from here on out, he's targeting a specific type of person.
Mhm.
Um, you know, if your target is people who are or who own businesses that have a revenue of 1 million to 5 million. Well, that's going to exclude all of the people who are just starting or just getting on their feet.
Yeah.
That's going to exclude those, right? It's
Yeah.
also going to exclude giant corporations, right?
Right.
Um,
Yeah. My clients is having problems right now because he wants to we've defined his target market as being homeowners
mm,
that have homes that are valued around, $500,000.
mhm.
But the problem is that he's getting people who are clicking on his Facebook ads, and then going to their houses and, meeting them and realizing that no, they do not have, this is not a $500,000 house. So,
So his
but
messaging is not disqualifying
the
the
ad
wrong
the
people.
ad the what is it, the message on the ad is basically click here to get a discount, like
Ah,
that. So that's why,
right.
that's a kind of an obvious
Yeah,
some sincere disconnect there, right, between who he wants to target and versus, does not. So
that's true. That's true. If you're looking for, if your target is people in a higher income bracket, people who have lots of assets, then offering discounts may not be. the best way because they don't necessarily care about discounts. They have the money to pay for whatever they want. They're not necessarily bargain shopping.
Yeah.
What they care
They're
about is save me time and give me great value.
yeah, their definition of success in that case is much different, right?
Yes,
Not
absolutely.
saving a few bucks. It's like, getting a job well done from somebody who,
Hmm.
does great work on their particular type of house, especially, that'd be
Yeah,
ideal.
absolutely.
Um, yeah, so it's very important to know who your target customer is not. Um, okay. Well, I guess one other thing that we should talk about is I think we kind of touched on this already, but
Yeah,
customer objections,
yeah,
common objections that they may have, knowing what those
absolutely.
are and how to address them.
Yeah. I mean, it usually common objections tend to go around and price and time, right? Money and time. Oh, it's too expensive. Oh, I don't have time, right? Those tend to be common objections. But like we just said, if your target is people in a higher income bracket, higher, they have lots of profits, they have lots of resources. Money isn't necessarily an objection for them, right? You can, quote them a price of $500,000 and they say, do you take American Express? Or, where do I wire you the money? Right. And they're ready to go. Let's get started, right? Um, so they're not necessarily bargain shopping. So whereas money might be an objection for one particular audience, it may not be for another. So another thing might be time, right? I don't have time to do this. How much time is it going to take? You're, if your service is servicing my Rolls Royce, how long am I going to be without my car? You know, do
Yeah.
you offer me something else as a replacement while you're working on it, right? Um, their objection, it could be many other different things, but your target is going to have their own particular objections based on what they value, right?
Yeah. And this is going back to, again, the one sentence persuasion course, right?
Hmm.
Just to allay their fears, right?
Hmm.
You are allaying their fears. You have to know what those are to begin with, though, to help make sure, give them confidence that you understand their position, you understand what really um, makes them kind of stay up at night, right? And then,
Yeah.
but you also, most importantly, you know how to fix it, right?
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
so um, that is very important. I'll definitely include that prompt, so people, I think it'll be pretty useful for people.
Yeah.
Um,
I'll do that
what
too.
else? Yeah, what else? Strategies. Let's see here. I got my cheat notes here. I'm looking at this.
Right.
Um,
We don't do this just off the dome, people. We,
yeah,
we have an outline that we follow
yeah.
because otherwise the conversation can just go left and, you never know what we'll end
Ramble.
up talking about.
I'll talk about all kinds of stuff. You don't rein me in. Um, but yeah, so I guess we can do
Mm,
summarize the conversation. What did we talk about? We started off, um, just talking about what a ideal target customer is. Who, what is your market? Who is your ideal customer? And
absolutely.
then
And
and
why that's so
then
important. Because,
yes,
if
exactly.
you're especially if you are using like paid advertising to reach out to your target, um, you want to make sure that you're getting a good return on that investment, um, by
Otherwise, you're
targeting
just
the
going to
right
be
people.
spending money to experiment, right? On
Right.
figuring out who it is. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, so
Um,
yeah, defining them is very crucial, and we want to look at both demographics and psychographics, right? Um,
Indeed.
we want to look at, their age and their income and their profession, but we also want to know what are their pain points, what are their values,
Mhm.
what are their aspirations. Sometimes people just want status, you know.
Oh
Um,
yeah, they want to show it off to their friends,
yeah,
you know. Yep.
yeah.
I mean that what was I was watching something today and they were talking about they were talking about why people buy like sports cars, you know.
Hmm.
It's not because they're functional, because oftentimes they're totally impractical and they're not functional at all, but that's part of the reason why they buy them.
Right, right.
There's no greater symbol of enormous wealth than enormous waste. I guess, you know, in that case.
That is true. It's like a look at me status. Look at what I
Right,
can do. Look what I have.
right. Yeah.
Mm, right. So we want to uncover their pain points and their fears, right? And make sure that what we're offering actually makes sense for them, is actually going to help them alleviate those pain points, address those fears, and solve the problems that they know they have.
And then
Right.
being able to being able to say why they should choose you. You know, what makes you
Mhm.
unique? How do you stand out? How are you different? Um,
Absolutely.
and then
Absolutely.
also, of course, like we said, knowing how your customers define success. You know, what does that mean to them? Do they want to save money? Like, are they looking for discounts, or are they looking to show off to their friends? You know, very, very big differences there, as I would
Yes,
say.
absolutely.
Um,
And then, of
and
course,
then,
we want to know who is not our target
yeah.
customer, because not everybody is our target customer. Even if what you do will work for everyone,
Hmm.
um, there's there's a phrase, I don't know who said it first, but they say if you're talking to everybody, you're talking to no one.
Yeah.
um, you do have to hone in on a specific target, and everyone else who doesn't fit, and they don't really fit with what you're saying, what you're talking about, they will self disqualify. They will say, oh well, that's not for me, and move on. And
Yeah.
that's okay. You actually make
But
more profit when you disqualify people.
yeah, but sometimes the it's the exclusionary factor that creates demand. So
That's
it could
true
have
too.
kind of a counter psychological effect.
That's true
Um,
too.
yeah.
Like Rolex watches, right? They're
Hmm.
expensive.
Hmm.
Um, but
But there's a
everybody
limited
wants
number,
them.
right? Or
There's a
yeah,
limited
exactly.
number. They have a
They're
high
very
price
expensive.
to
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Um, and but everybody wants them, even though they're not as functional as say a Timex.
Right. There, I saw a brilliant billboard. I don't know if it was Rolex, but it was a watch company that makes analog watches, right?
Hmm.
Not digital. And basically it said something to the effect of, the it's analog, that's the point. Like, so you're not bugged by all these, notifications and whatnot, right? So yeah,
That is true.
that's
That's
interesting.
awesome.
Mhm.
Mm-mm.
But so yeah, that's what we got. That's what we did. And if you need help creating your target market and figuring out who that is, by all means, get in touch. We can help you get through that. We have valuable resources that can help you there, I think, and um, you know, help you get on the right path here.
Absolutely. I'm available for 30-minute conversations, and we'll both have resources
Yeah.
in the description for to help you to as you're creating your offers, and putting it out into the marketplace so that your ideal client will know you're the one for me.
Yep. All right. Great. Well, till next time.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Share this with your friends and comment below. Who's in your ideal market? We will
Who is
talk to you
not?
later. And who's not? That's
Yeah.
a good idea. Who is not? All right. We'll talk to you next time.
Well, good deal. Um,